KAZI 88.7, Travis Kent, alongside Douglas Washington, twisting and tweaking the boards today. Thank you, Douglas. As Jamal is on a little trip. He's up in the great northwest. He went to Portland, right?
Tacoma.
Yeah. So.
Did you see my text to him?
I did. I did see that.
I didn't get a reaction, so he must really be focused on the travel because I just thought he would jump on it, or Corey. But yeah, I used to live there.
Also in today, Corey Mose, KB24's own.
I was going to let you live, Douglas. That's why.
I thought you were too. I thought you were going to jump in there on our group text too.
I'm trying to mature.
Yeah. So it just so you know, so I'm a military brat.
Yeah.
And that's why I get to claim a little bit of that. And there's a military base there. It's now called Joint Base Lewis McChord. Back then it was just called Fort Lewis from Lewis and Clark. And so that's why I lived there. But yeah, right. I had my time there. I get to claim it.
Yep.
We left right before Mount St. Helens blew up. Give you guys a little U.S. history. Corey probably don't know much about that, but you.
Oh heck yeah, that was big news.
Yeah, we got out of there. It's like perfect timing.
Wow.
That's right when we moved away.
Oh man.
You can't script that any better.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So it was y'all fault.
My dad's fault. I'm pretty sure Douglas Washington, my dad, probably had something to do with it. My dad, he's from Brooklyn, New York, and stereotypical everything you think of a slick talking, fast New Yorker. That's my dad. I'm sure he stirred the pot in the volcano. Probably went up there as New Yorkers do. What's all this? Threw something in there. Yeah.
Lots going on in sports we got to talk about. Let's see. Steph hits 4,000.
Reggie Miller said on the broadcast that he thinks Curry's going to make it to 5,000.
He could. I mean, his body seems to hold up pretty well. The stroke hadn't gone away.
No.
Best point guard of all time.
I've always said he could have, if he wants to, he could have a second career in the NBA as an off the bench spot up shooter dude.
Sort of
a bench though?
In his olden years, just come in, stop and pops. Remember Sam Perkins, what he did on some championship teams? Maybe come in as Robert Horry. Big shot Bob.
Yeah.
So big shot Steph on your team. I would take him.
Yeah, I think the same thing like a guy like KD.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
KD,
yeah.
He's going to be able to play till he's 50 just because of the way he plays.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, guys, how old is DeMar DeRozan? He hits a lot of late game shots, and I feel like he's an elder statesman in the league.
He's like 35.
Yeah, something like that.
So he's about Steph's age then. I don't know. He doesn't get as much fanfare.
He's born in 89.
Wow.
35 years old.
Good call, Corey.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's still kicking. He's up there in Sacramento doing a great job. Still a 20-point guy.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
He's been hooping.
Yeah.
Zach Levine.
Yeah. Poor Zach.
Last week we had this question. I was in the minority.
Okay.
But if you're making a starting five, I think Steph should be at the point guard. They chose Magic Johnson.
Whoa.
Okay. At least he's hesitant, which means it was a great argument.
It is a great argument.
He's torn.
It's a great argument. Wow.
Especially, and what we were trying to tell him, especially nowadays, because I think Magic was ahead of his time. But we're positionless
for sure
all now. So you get a 6'9" point guard in today's game.
See, that's so. Okay.
Shoot.
Yeah. Huh?
Hold on now.
Well, and that's the game today. If we're dropping him into the game today, I think I got to go with Steph because the game is played so much outside the 3-point line, and not that Magic. If Magic, if we went back to the careers of some of these guys. Like a James Worthy, a Magic, even a Bird, because volume of shots we didn't actually see from him. Who knows? Could he have been a 48% three-point shooter if he was shooting, 13, 14 threes a night, something like that? It would be interesting to see, right? Yeah, talking about Bird. What kind of shooter? What kind of like James Worthy? Would James Worthy have been a great 3-point shooter? That wasn't really his game. But he was a good mid-range shooter. Could he step out 3 more steps and still be able to? It's an interesting. But if you ask me right now, the proven one, I would have to go with Steph at the point guard position.
Well, we just talked about DeMar DeRozan, and he's still dropping 20. He's notorious for being a mid-range guy, and throughout the majority of his career, until even now, he rarely shoots the threes. He may get up 2 a game, which is not a lot for a prime time player who has the ball that much. So I would say he would be a little Ben Simmons if Ben Simmons was healthy and ball dominant / DeMar DeRozan with a little bit of Russell Westbrook as far as we don't have to live by the 3. And yet, when Russell, especially the now Russell's in the right place, you're okay with him not shooting the 3. I think maybe in Russell's career, maybe he should have realized he couldn't shoot the 3 a little earlier and maybe just use that athleticism and drive more.
Yeah, I feel like over time, though, his body probably would have given out faster. I don't think he would be at this point in his career.
Magic?
No, you're talking about Russell.
Oh, Russell, okay.
Like, if he would have used his athleticism more, I think that's the reason why he tried to start shooting more threes. Because he saw the writing on the wall. Like, he wasn't going to be able to use his athleticism his entire career at that level. So he knew that he had to expand his game. I also think of a guy like Brook Lopez. Like, Brook Lopez was a back-to-the-basket post when he was, what was that with? Before Milwaukee. Well, with the Nets, when he was in Brooklyn. Yeah. But then he now had, I believe, over 3,000 threes made in his career.
So funny you say that. I was watching the Bucks last night, and the Lopez brothers. They're from California. My wife's from Los Angeles, so she grew up around them. And her first thing was, "Wait a minute, he's still in the league?"
Yeah.
When she saw Brooke, and because she remembers the high school coming through high school with them and hearing the fanfare, and I said, "Yeah, because he reinvented himself." And she said, "What do you mean?" Look at that. And he had just hit a 3 top of the key, which cut, or maybe to the left of the key, and which was like great because Alex Lynn didn't come out on him, and he nailed it. And I said, see that? And look at him and watch this. And he ran back down the court. He beat Vanderbilt down the court. So he runs the floor very well. And then look at him. He's playing really good D. And then the next play, he got a block on, can't remember who he got a block on. So I was like, see, he knows his role. And he's playing it.
Yeah, he evolved his
longevity.
Game. So I feel like Russell had to evolve his game too, just to stay in the league.
I want to just ask you guys one more point on this. So Russell Westbrook for career is only 0.7% higher than Charles Barkley. So Charles Barkley was 26.6% 3-point percentage. So would y'all say that Charles Barkley wouldn't have? Now that I've told you that, would you say he wouldn't have a place in today's game?
Yeah, he would struggle.
Whoa.
He's short, bro. In today's game, to be someone that's that ball dominant and trying to score like that at that height, at that position, I think he would have struggled. Like Draymond, he's at that height, but he doesn't try to score. He's still
and I'm a Draymond hater. I think his day is done. I think he's overvalued, especially by Golden State. I think they should have moved on. Okay, how about this then? Zion Williamson doesn't shoot the 3. He's in today's game. He's Magic size.
Come on, bro.
He's a little shorter.
He's not Barkley though, bro. He's so athletic.
They're both 6. Well, hold on. Heyday Barkley used to go get it. Am I right, Travis?
Zion.
He dunk on anybody.
He wasn't Zion.
Yeah, but Zion's a different kind of athlete than Chuck ever was. But I mean, Chuck, I got a great deal of respect for Chuck. I mean, I grew up watching him, and I wouldn't put it past him to make a way for himself.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of, he was always sort of he was undersized. He wasn't as athletic. He had a lot going against him. He was always playing against bigger guys, more athletic players than he was, and he always found a way to dominate somehow. Mark Aguirre was kind of the same way. He was kind of undersized and had a different body style, and there have been guys throughout the years who just don't seem to fit what we think the profile of the perfect player would be, but then they find a way. That's why I say it's always interesting to judge different eras.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know what it would look like. I mean, that's, you talk about big men from pre-3-point line days. Everyone just jammed inside on them.
Yeah.
And yet they still found a way to win NBA titles and win MVPs. Can you think of, people don't play back to the basket anymore, but the few people that do can make a great living down there because the floor is wide open.
Yeah.
And if you just move to the right spot, you can get a lot of wide open dunks.
Okay, I'll just ask y'all one more point about this when it comes to Magic. So I was looking at Giannis last night, and I think the same thing. He doesn't shoot threes. He's in today's game. He gets the ball a lot. At one point, he had 7 assists last night because they're constantly jamming it to him and he kicks out. So to y'all's point about the 3-point line and the importance of the 3-point, we'll have floor spacing.
Yeah.
And the Lakers, I thought, had that. They had Thompson. They had the other guy who went into coaching. They had those wing players that were shooting those threes almost ahead of their time. They used to jack that 3 up a little bit. So y'all don't think that they would just space the floor? Okay, so Magic does his mid-range when it's there. But instead of taking the 3, he takes 2 or 3 more steps in, and everyone knows to clear out, give that spacing, and then he punishes some small guard that's on him. So y'all don't think that there would be a place for that?
Yeah, but yes, there is a place for that, for sure. But, when you mention small guard, there are no small guards anymore. Like, everyone's 6'6", 6'7". I mean, I think of A-Man.
Except for Steph.
Yeah, except for Steph.
Yeah.
I think A-Man Thompson for the Rockets, I mean, we're talking about a dude that's 6'10", 6'9", playing point. So Magic's size wouldn't be as much of a factor in today's game as it was back then. And I don't know how athletic Magic was. So you're talking about Magic blowing by guys. I don't know if he's going to be blowing by guys in today's NBA, like a Lou Dort.
I don't know if it was... Travis, where would we rate him? I would say he didn't have necessarily the first step, Iverson first step,
right.
Or Derrick Rose first step. But, man, he ran that court great. So I'm going to say he had middle distance speed. It's kind of weird now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, and obviously they were Showtime Lakers, right? So they were up-tempo, and it was an up and down the court. So certainly there's athleticism there, but he was a bigger-bodied guy. When you compare him to whoever's running, whether we want to call them a point forward or we just drop the point forward thing and say, hey, look, if they're ball dominant, they're a guard. We can just stop calling it point forward nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is a guard.
Yes,
that's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so it's different to think about whether he would still have some advantages against even larger, taller point guards because his body style was a heavier body style.
Yeah.
But then again, it is going to change the way that he gets into the lane because he was able to get into the lane. Look, and what we're all really saying is that the human body and the way we train has changed way too much to really effectively compare a lot of these eras, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just the way they were training in the late 70s and 80s. I mean, they were still smoking cigarettes right before the game. They're probably smoking cigarettes in the locker room at halftime back then.
You're just coating the lungs for what's about to come.
Exactly.
That way you can hold in the oxygen in the lungs.
Yeah.
You say that, but I feel like in every other position, though, if we were to name a starting 5, you have a lot of dudes from the past. I think that's the one difference with the point guard position. I agree with you, but if I'm making a starting 5 and I'm looking for a center, it's probably gonna be Kareem, and then for 4 it's probably gonna be Tim Duncan.
Wow.
And so we got a lot.
So
of
glad
dudes.
you said Kareem.
Yeah, it's either Kareem or Shaq, one of the two.
Yeah.
And so I feel like other than point, I mean, at the 2 will be Jordan. At the 3 will be LeBron. Steph is kind of the only guy that I would put in that starting 5.
I've always hated that he's called a point guard. I've always played point guard. I don't consider Steph a point guard. I consider him a combo guard, or maybe even almost a shooting guard. When that ball is out of your hand that much and you're running screens, you're running around like him, you're not necessarily facilitating. You are receiving a lot. And so I really hate to call him a 1. I know we do it, but that personally, I struggle with it.
What do they call the stat these days? On-ball usage. I can't. Whatever it's called these days, right? Yeah. And it would be interesting to go back and apply some of the metrics they're using today.
Yeah.
To the Golden State 10 years ago, because I feel like you've got a point in that Clay and Steph. And I can't, I'm not going to be
Draymond. He had all those assists.
They probably all. If you at the end of the day, at the end of a game, their time with the ball in their hand, running like triggering the offense,
yes,
was probably pretty close within a minute or two of each other most games.
I think so.
So who was really their point guard? They just played a share the team basketball system.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you look at the Warriors' last championship, that was Steph.
That was Steph. Yes.
That was Steph facilitating the offense. That was Steph controlling everything.
Yeah.
Wait, was the big body guy that got an MVP? Iguodala. Was Iguodala on that last one?
Yeah, but he wasn't playing. He was getting 0 minutes on that last. He was more there.
Okay,
like
so I'm going back to the one before that.
That was when like Jordan Poole was doing his Jordan Poole started on that team when they won that championship. So he would take a little bit of pressure off of Steph.
Yeah.
Whenever Steph was out, Jordan Poole would run the offense.
So what were we saying Jordan was? A 1 or a 2?
Jordan Poole?
Yeah. On that team.
Oh, he was a 2. He started as a 2.
Okay.
He's not a point guard. He's going to jack it up every time.
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, you had what? I believe it was Steph, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, and Kevon Looney. That team won a championship. I still think that's crazy. And I don't think we give enough credit for Steph for winning that championship because he also, remember who he beat? He beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Young Celtics.
Yeah, but it's still the guys that we see now.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Steph made them go get Porzingis.
Yep.
To being honest.
That was that the beginning of these Celtics may not. I mean, how it took them how many? Either Eastern Conference or NBA Finals appearances to get over the hump. That was right the beginning. Maybe a couple of years into that, are these Celtics ever going to win it?
Yeah, I believe that was Missoula's first year, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ime got fired that year.
I can't remember those timelines, but
yeah. Well, I love that. It's a great conversation. I will always go with Magic, but that's also more of my era.
Mm-hmm.
But that size though, because I also wonder if Steph could survive in that era. He is no Isaiah Thomas, and it was a bully ball. It was a really pound 'em type of game, and I don't know if Steph handles that as well. He was hurt his first few years too, a lot. Isaiah was healthy a good amount, and he was that smaller guard. That's the best I could get. That's the closest, because there aren't many small guards like that win championships if you think about it.
No, definitely not.
So it's really Isaiah and Steph.
I mean, you got Stockton. Well, Stockton didn't win no championship.
Yeah.
No. He ran into Jordan too many times.
And this is my last point in the whole thing. If you're making your all-time starting five and Steph's not on the starting five, who's shooting the basketball?
Right. That's a great point.
I've never actually gone with my all-time starting five, so I don't have a right-away answer because I don't really go into the shooting guards, and so I couldn't help you with that, because normally I'm into the GOAT conversation, and I'm always ready to fight on that one. I've never actually thought about my starting five. Wow, I'd have to. Who would you have shooting your ball?
Well, I mean, if you take the starting five that was laid out, Jordan was never a volume 3-point shooter. Yeah, he was streaky, and he was clutch.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you're fine with him putting up as many threes as you want.
You got Bird on it, right?
Nah, but
No,
you
not the
don't?
starting five.
Whoa, wait a
on
minute.
there.
Okay. Sheesh.
He got
I mean,
LeBron over
That
there.
hurts.
Duncan can sit out there and spot up some threes.
Can he?
Yeah.
Did he do
From
that?
an angle so he can use that backboard.
I just said,
So he can kiss it off
I
the
didn't know he had that in the
backboard
game. When
with
he
the
get that?
kiss. Wow. Okay. Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Bird's
Like,
not
if you
on
don't
it.
have Steph, like, who's going to shoot the three-pointer on your starting five? And I just think with the importance of the three-pointer in today's game, like, you got to have at least one guy that can consistently shoot the three. So,
Okay. So you're going twos. So you're all in because we even mentioned analytics. So twos versus threes. You are going to say to win a championship, you're going to have to shoot threes. There aren't many 2-point games out there.
well, I just think you need at least one guy that can consistently shoot a three. I think that's just what I'm saying. Like, and if that one guy is the best shooter of all time, I'll take it.
You know that's another thing that really makes this a hard conversation is because he is, and most people agree he's the greatest shooter of all time. So when you wrap that in, that overrides almost anything else a point guard or any other skill. You take that point, and because of that,
Yeah.
Steph has to be one of the greatest of all time
Exactly.
because of that shooting.
But he can do a lot, though. I don't want to just succumb Steph to just shooting. I mean, he can
Right.
finish very well.
With his handle, he could have been the assist leader if he ever wanted to.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, you bring up the point of, like, is he a point guard? Yeah, he's a point guard. Like, could he just hadn't had to do it because Steve Kerr runs his offense in a way where he can do a lot more off-ball stuff, which is props to Steve Kerr for utilizing your talent. But in that last finals, like, Steph had to be point guard. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of low-key worried of the Warriors this year. Like, 'cause when Steph is happy, when Steph has a number two,
Yeah.
he wins. And so with the way Jimmy Butler and them been together, Jimmy kind of places everybody else in their roles that they're supposed to be in.
Yes.
You know, so now you're not asking a lot from Pod, or you're not asking a lot from Kuminga now when he's back. Kuminga can be a legit 3, a legit third option, which he's a really good third option, averaging 20 points a game.
They don't have to depend on Buddy Hield. They
Yeah,
brought him
exactly,
over.
bro.
Beginning of the season, they thought, let's get more out of Buddy. He was getting a lot of minutes, and they realized, no,
He's not that guy.
Buddy's not. Yeah, you're right. He's when a teacher comes into the classroom, everyone gets in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's Butler.
That's what Butler has
6
been.
straight wins as of last night. What a team.
And I'm interested to see if that whole Jimmy Buckets thing comes up in the playoffs. You know, so playoff Jimmy. So I'm really interested to see if that comes alive. But like I wouldn't want to play the Warriors in the first round. If I'm
Nope.
Thunder,
No.
if I'm the Lakers,
No.
if I'm the Nuggets, like you don't want to. I would rather play the Rockets in that first round. So I'm scared.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so we got some other things going on. Obviously, we've got Texas plays again today at 2:30 after a win yesterday. You know, we sat here
Big time win.
We sat here a couple weeks ago and talked about Texas and their last 5 games of the regular season. We were talking about, man, they're playing the bottom, like the schedule's set up for them
Yeah.
to make a run at the end, and they didn't really do that.
No.
But really nice win over A&M yesterday, double overtime. Shouldn't have gone to overtime in the first place, but they get through, and we'll take on Tennessee today, and you know we'll have to see 7 Travis Kent, Douglas Washington, KV24's Corey Mose.
You're-
All right, where do you guys want to go first?
Corey, I want to hear what Corey wants. I'm so curious here.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we can go men's basketball since we were just talking about.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Knock that out real fast.
Let's do that.
Because I was going somewhere weird.
Conference basketball tournaments going on. Some name teams around the country that are on the bubble: North Carolina, Texas, Indiana, that are trying to fight their way in. We talked briefly. We mentioned Texas getting the win over A&M. Corey, what's your? I mean, look, Joe Lenardi and I name your bracketology guy that you want to follow. 19-14 now, I think is the Longhorn record. It's still tough to choke back. What were they, 6-11 and I can't,
Yeah.
7-11
No,
something.
they got six wins.
Okay. Is not a very good looking number, but do you think they've done enough with quad 1 wins and all the metrics that everyone tracks? Do you think they've done enough?
I think so. I think with that win, yes. It's funny because I still don't understand the quad.
I don't either.
Quad 2 stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you beat an A&M squad that just beat the number 1 team in the country, I believe, 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. Number 13 in the country right now. That's how they're ranked, I believe. And I mean, it was a gritty win. I mean, double overtime. And, they looked good. They controlled most of the game, too. It wasn't like a last-second shot to put it over. Like, Texas was in control for a majority of that game.
Yeah.
So I just really think it is interesting to see what people are saying about them being the last team in right now. And I think they knew it.
Yeah.
I think Rodney Terry knew his job was on
Oh,
the
yeah.
line
Yeah.
during that game. And that game, had so much weight. And for them to win it, I just think it's of course, right? Of course, this is what RT does.
It's right.
We talked about this. They get all the way their backs against the wall, and all of a sudden they just start playing like a team again.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Why can't you play like this with no pressure? But, to their point and to their credit, and this is something RT told me before their game against, I want to say against Auburn. I don't think that's right, though. But I asked him, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Just off, off script. And, he said nothing really people say about me can get to me. But he's like, I don't think people understand how big of a loss Kendall Weaver was.
Yeah.
And
change their whole rotation.
Exactly. And it's not just what he brings to the court, it's what he allows other guys to rest. And I saw that yesterday, being able to put in Weaver and take out Trey, right? And now Trey doesn't have to play all these minutes. You can trust the guy that you're bringing in can still provide something. You're not going to provide what Trey provides, but Kendall does provide something different. I mean, rebounding.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember that crazy shot he hit
Uh-huh.
off the backboard, and then he gets the rebound. Then he gets the steal, and then he got that block.
Right.
Just those type of winning plays that Kendall does provide. And if it's on the third game, this team has had a fully healthy roster.
Yep, that's right.
So, I think RT's figured it out with Jamal Mark at point. I think if you're trying to put a team in, that should play a factor too, knowing that they're playing differently than how they played in the regular season.
So what do you let me, because I mean Jay Bill talked about it a lot on the telecast yesterday, and it stands out like a sore thumb that Tremont Mark's got the ball in his hands and Pope and Larry, which in their own right are good players, but I think most that watch the season would agree that probably underperformed what the expectation was for what they came in and were supposed to be able to do. Yeah. To pivot late in the season and say, we to win have to do something different. Got to give Rodney Terry a lot of credit for that.
Exactly. And I don't think I saw a lot of things on X yesterday saying if he would have made this move earlier this year, this team would have won 9 games in conference. It's well, can we just talk about how he did make the move?
Right. Yeah.
Why we gotta talk about how if he would have done it sooner? Well, you didn't think of it. Nobody thought. I didn't see this at all.
Yeah.
No type of message boards saying Jamal Murk needs to play point. Nobody was saying that. So the fact that he thought of this idea and it's working, you have to give credit to RT. You're totally right. And honestly, it's a pride thing. I think he came in here, recruited Julian Larry to be that guy, the engine for the offense. And he is a pure point guard, Julian Larry is. But it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, you may have liked this kid from Indiana State. You may have liked what he brought to the table, but it's not working. And so take your pride aside and figure out how do you win games. And RT figured that out. Same thing with Trey Johnson's usage.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday with 10 minutes left in the game, Trey Johnson disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
Right.
Because he's supposed to be this lottery pick, and low-key, like, Trey has done this a couple times.
He has,
this
that's
isn't
right.
The first time.
Yeah.
And so, being able to be like, okay, it's not your night, let Tremont run the show in that late game, first overtime until he basically fouled out. Another pride thing, I think, with Terry, like, he's been able to grow on, because I feel like in games past, they would have just force-fed Trey and made him run the offense. Like, okay, if you can't shoot it tonight, well, you'll still facilitate.
Yeah.
Like, no, he could be a decoy. Let's make him a decoy. That is okay to be a decoy. And he was a decoy late in that game yesterday until he had to hit a shot. And that goes back to the Weaver thing. Like, Trey had legs to hit that deep shot because Weaver was giving him minutes to spell throughout the game. So everything works in collaboration. And I like the way this team looks.
And we're seeing two guys that stand out to me that are nice pieces, right? They add something to the team. Jason Kent and Devin Pryor.
Yeah.
During the stretch with Kendall Weaver out, Devin Pryor's going to be a really good basketball player, man. I love the way he plays. When I went to Baton Rouge to watch that Texas LSU game, his family was sitting just over to the side of where we were.
That's cool.
He played a really good game in that LSU game as well. Of course, a lot of guys played really well in that LSU game. But Pryor and Jason Kent gave good quality minutes for a big stretch of the season. And Pryor, did he even get in the game yesterday? And Jason Kent played probably, 6-8 minutes, something like that.
Pryor had 2 minutes, got one shot up, and he hit it, but 2 minutes.
Yeah. And so, but the experience they gained is certainly going to help. Jason Kent's a grad student, so but Pryor's a sophomore, and he's going to be a key part next year. But that's just with Kendall Weaver being back in the lineup. Like I said, it completely changed the rotations for this team.
Yeah. Then you got a guy like Arthur Kaluma.
Yeah.
Who hits a big time shot. Mm-hmm. And again, it's just another. When he hit the shot, I'm like, dang, they do got Arthur on this team. That it was one of those type of, wow.
Yeah.
You have a big time scorer that hadn't had the ball in the last 5 minutes, but when you need a bucket, you can still give him the bucket.
Yeah.
Because Tremont done so well, because Jordan has shot the ball so great. And so, I really like this team in the way the makeup is. I see what RT was excited about at the beginning of the season when they're all healthy. I am interested to see when they face a legit big again, how they're able to handle that. Because Shedrick had a decent game on the court, phenomenal game at the free throw line. Right. On the court, it was decent.
Yeah.
So, are they going to be able to guard a big? Because they have struggled with that this year. But I am interested to see what happens now with RT. Because before the postseason started, it was like, what does he have to do to keep his job? Is it make it the Elite Eight? Is it win the SEC championship? I was talking to some writers, I'm not going to name names, but they're like, it doesn't matter if he wins the SEC tournament. It has to be the NCAA. He has to make a run in the NCAA tournament. So I don't agree with that. I feel like if he wins the SEC tournament, like, his job is safe. Yeah. I don't think they will, but it's just the fact that that was a big time win yesterday. Yeah. And I don't think people understand the momentum you can build. Yeah. After winning a game like that, when we all know your job's on the line and tournament bids on the line, and you win it in that fashion.
The unfortunate thing, and let's just go into supposition mode here, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that Texas run ends today, but they do make the tournament, right? They're going to be in the first 4 games played, which is going to add more minutes to the bodies going into the opening weekend of the tournament, which, whatever, right? But had they played better down that final stretch, and had they got their name into the 8, 9, 10 discussion, and then been a legitimate contender for getting to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. If they're going to get in as a 13 seed, have to play opening weekend or the opening 4 games, and then advance and end up facing the number 5 seed or whatever, it severely hinders this team, who I believe and Rodney Terry was exactly right after the game last night. This team has not played their best game because they've only played as a full team 3 games this year.
Yeah.
And will they play their best game? Who knows if we'll ever see the original the 8-man rotation that RT thought he was going to have this year. Who knows if we'll ever see that those 8 players play their best game of the year? But at least we're getting to see them now. We'll give it a shot, see what happens. But I think he's got to. I do think he probably has to get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Where's the confidence with this game? I want to know where y'all are. So we played Tennessee early in the year when they were number 1, lost 74-70.
It was a tight game. One of the best games
And
they played.
y'all are saying that they've made some changes, which may make them a better team. So if this team, and we're playing the woulda, coulda, shoulda, because that was then, this is now. Are y'all confident going into? So that was a number 14 ranked Texas A&M for those who didn't know, and now this is a number 8 ranked Tennessee team. Where are y'all at with your confidence in this game, though?
In today's game,
Yeah.
I basically texted one of the group chats I'm in. I just feel like they're gonna get smacked today. Like, it just feels like one of those games where you got the job done, you got the win over A&M. A lot of people are saying you're in. After double overtime, legs are probably shot from yesterday. I can see them going out there and shooting 25% today. Like, I really can. I can see this being a 15-point blowout because Tennessee's that good. And I don't know if Tennessee's played a game yet. I think they've been by the yeah.
Right. This is their opening
first
game.
So maybe they have rust to shoot, but that double overtime, that takes a lot out of you. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence to answer your question. I really don't.
Okay.
But I also don't think they need this game anymore. I think they're in. So
yeah.
Okay. I'm shocked. It was a close game. Going into the half, they were down 33-31 to Tennessee, and then in that second half, they was only outscored by 2 points in the second half against Tennessee. Then. Yeah. So it's a tight game. It was a tight game. Now, that was a home game for us. It was here at the Moody Center to jog everybody's memory. Maybe some home cooking helped out. Some rowdy fans helped out. But I'm a little more confident. And that's just because I'm a little biased. My cousin played in a 4 overtime game against Notre Dame, came back, double overtime game, and they fought, even though they were underhanded. And so I feel pretty confident of a tight game.
I think if so, we know what Rick Barnes and his teams want to do. They want to play defense and they want to play half-court basketball. They ran a little bit more last year. These last few Tennessee teams have been Rick Barnes' most athletic teams in quite a while, and so he seems to allow them to run a little more than some of those Texas teams that we watched. Some of them looked like they were waiting for the paint to dry on the court before they went into the lane, and I think that helps Texas today in that they're not running into a team that's going to try to score 95 points on you, and so you certainly have the opportunity to sit out there. But this is a really good shooting Tennessee team, and if they get hot early and they get out to a 10, 12-point lead, I think that's where the fear comes in for me, is that Texas would need to then push the pace, try to speed the game up to get back in it, and I don't know if they're going to have the legs for that.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, is just the legs.
Yeah.
So we got a caller on the line. Caller.
Hey, caller, you there?
Yeah. How you doing?
Hey, Pflugerville man, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How y'all doing?
Good,
Doing
good.
great.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'd like to go talk a little bit about what happened last Sunday. Our Lady Longhorns went into Carolina as the number 1 team.
Yeah.
We didn't leave that thing, man. I tell you, God. I think what affected them too was that number 1 seed. Maybe about a little bit. South Carolina got the number 1 seed, and while they had won their game, Texas was playing LSU and winning too. But in a way, it seems like both teams had played back-to-back games, something like playing 2 games. Then we have Madison Booker. well, she usually can go into the paint, see what she wants. They were sagging on her, man, and sometimes double team. And I think for the later on, they'll probably admit it too. It was just too many turnovers. I say they were a little tired, but I don't want to say they were out of shape. But that third, fourth quarter, man, was out there. Who knows? We might meet again.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing last weekend. Didn't shoot well. We've had a couple games like this for the women. They've survived a couple of games like this where there was a lid on the basket, and didn't matter how close they got to the basket, nothing would go in. And that kind of happened against South Carolina as well. But at the end of the day, I don't know that game means that much mentally or physically to this Texas team. They're gonna be a 1 seed in their quadrant, and if they advance and they can push through and get to a Final Four, I like their chances. This is a good basketball team.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I definitely think they're good. I think they're solid. I think they got a chance to win it. They did get exposed, though.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that Don Staley, and I feel like a lot of these other teams have started to figure out, because Kim Mulkey did the same thing. LSU came to town. They were just like, let Rory Harmon beat us.
Yeah.
We're going to make Rory shoot. We're going to stuff the paint. And y'all going to have to hit threes. And I think at the end of the day, like that's going to be tough to do when this team isn't built to do that. Yeah. And so, yeah, you saw that with South Carolina. But like you said, there's been games where they haven't shot well. Like
correct.
LSU.
That's right.
LSU, they didn't shoot well. But the difference was they were able to stop LSU on the other end.
That's right.
And when you let South Carolina go on a 17-2 run, games cooked.
That's right.
At that point. So you just can't allow them to go on that type of run if you're not going to shoot well. I do feel like it was – I hated the South Carolina team afterward talking about locking up Madison Booker and who can't guard who. But it's like you double-teamed her the whole night.
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about? Like, y'all know good and well y'all were doubling the whole night, bro.
That's right.
But anyways, to each his own. But yeah, Madison has to find a way to still be impactful when she's not shooting well. And she did that against LSU. She grabbed 12 rebounds.
She did.
But this last game, I think she still had a double-double, but it wasn't impactful rebounds. So, yeah, I like this team a lot, but I just kept thinking the whole game, watching it, this is why they need to get Aaliyah Chavez.
That's right.
Like this is the reason why you have to get the number one recruit in the nation, is because she can shoot the ball.
She's amazing.
With Madison on the court. Now you can't stack the paint.
That's right.
Now you can't just leave the point guard on her by herself in the 3-point line. And so hopefully they are able to. I think she's committing March 26th. Hopefully they're able to get Aaliyah. But South Carolina kind of exposed some things.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Hey, let me ask y'all something right quick. Quick question. Dallas Cowboys. Have y'all heard whether Cooper Kupp has landed in Dallas or not?
He is. So, according to David Moore from the Dallas Morning News this morning, although ESPN was reporting that it looked like it was going to be between Dallas and Seattle, David Moore with the Dallas Morning News is reporting that Dallas is not pursuing Cooper Kupp, is the last I heard.
Man.
Adam Schefter's wrong? Crazy.
Oh, man. I don't know about our team, man.
What you mean,
got
man?
an owner that's crazy.
You got Miles Sanders, dude.
What? Hey, DeMarcus Lawrence's parting comments, did that rub you the wrong
That
way?
was crazy, huh?
Pflugerville man, did you hear what he said?
What's that?
DeMarcus Lawrence, when he left in a tweet, did you hear what he said on his way
got
out?
a big deal, man.
Well, he said that he's glad to have left Dallas to get to his new team because he knew he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl there anyway.
Yep. That's where a lot of people are thinking, okay?
Okay.
What can you say, man? You got to own him, man. When he leaves, his kids don't take over. Sooner or later, man, we got to do something for the team, man. I don't know, but the dude told me, say, hey, y'all is worse than the New York guy. Oh, shit. Let's do something. Hey, y'all have a good weekend. I'm going to head back to work. Enjoy talking to you.
Thank you, Pflugerville man. We appreciate it as always.
Man,
we do got some creating.
He's a relaxed guy because I thought I was saving that one for Travis because I wanted Travis's reaction. Still want to hear from you, Travis. But I thought a hardcore Cowboy fan would want to throw attitude. I mean, I know DeMarcus spent a lot of years, 11 years there maybe, and y'all love him. But if you're gonna say that on the way out, I thought there's gonna be drama. But in saying that, what do those words mean to you, Travis?
No, I think most Cowboys fans, and especially if you're a Texas-based Cowboys fan, you're probably also a Mavericks fan in some form. And we're just so beaten down right now, man. We really.
It's horrible right now.
I mean, we like I can't wait for the hockey playoffs. Like the Stars play the Winnipeg Jets tonight.
Yep.
And it's going to be a great showdown.
Yeah.
That's what I'm reduced to. and look, I've got nothing against hockey. Playoff hockey is some of the most fun television. It's electric. It is edge of your seat. Nothing. I'm not saying anything bad about the game of hockey.
No.
But of the big four, it's number 4 on my list, and right now it's number 1 on my list.
Okay, so Travis, for you and other Dallas, for those who don't know, Travis is from that Dallas area, born and raised. Okay, so Travis, you have a women's team coming, and you guys can get Paige buckets.
Yeah.
That's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Is that something to be excited about?
Said top forward. He was not putting the W.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't get excited about that.
Hey, once again, my guess is that when the WNBA season rolls around again, I don't know how many games I watched last year.
All right.
6, 8, 10, something like that.
Yeah.
Most of them involve Caitlin Clark. I'll probably be on the same type of schedule this year.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, if it's Paige Bucher's going to Dallas with that number 1 overall pick, that will excite the Dallas WNBA fans some. But that still, in the sports landscape, it still doesn't really stir the pot, right? So I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, look, I'm sitting here saying that because I'm also leaving out I grew up with a soccer daughter, right?
Yeah.
But we don't talk FC Dallas or Austin FC around here very much.
No,
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love if there was more people who wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
That would get me probably more interested in watching more of it. But we don't get calls on it. And I keep up with the standings because I want Austin FC to be good. And I haven't been to it. I didn't go to a game last year. I went to a game the year before. I want to go to a game this year.
Oh.
Maybe a couple games, but I don't really mention them either. So I'm not trying to single out the WNBA or something. We can't cover all, you know.
I don't get
I
to
understand.
in my house. Well, I think I'm the king by title, but I have missed every Austin FC. I only look at Inter Miami games. My kids love Messi. I don't blame them. My lives with us, and that's the only games I get to see in MLS. So
I don't blame them.
I would be very interested in talking MLS, but you're right. We don't have enough time, and we don't have enough callers.
Yeah, for sure. And like Corey, you got 3 minutes.
Yep.
Is that essentially the allotment?
At 10.
Depending, huh?
At 10 o'clock.
At 10 on the 10 o'clock show, you get 3 minutes.
6 o'clock, we get a minute and a half.
Golly, I never really realized that. Sheesh.
Local
I'm just
news.
always so happy to be like, hey, there you go. Hey, kids, there he is.
Yeah, local news, bro.
Wow.
It's hard,
Now I wish
bro.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Wow. I didn't know it was that quick.
On the weekend, I get more time. I will say that. But throughout the week, yeah, you get a minute and a half for 6 o'clock and 3 minutes for.
Yeah, I really only catch you during the week. We don't get a lot. We don't see you on the weekend a lot.
Catch me on the weekend.
I try to catch you on the weekends.
That's when I cook.
That's usually when I catch you.
Yeah, that's when I
Oh.
mostly anchor. I don't anchor during the week anymore because of the
Alright.
new football schedule.
We're chasing activities, but
Except
okay.
this weekend
I'll
I'll be in
fix
Denver.
it.
Don't
Oh, okay.
got a wedding to go
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm in a wedding. I'm flying out today. Actually, I'm in a wedding.
Okay.
But yeah, on the weekend, that's when I get more time, so I get to be more creative or talk about just more things.
Yes, sir.
So I try. It's hectic though, bro.
Yeah.
Weekend is. Cause we got 2 sports blocks on weekends per show, because we have an hour-long 10 o'clock. So I have 2 sports blocks and Saturday, Sundays 10 o'clock show. So a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work, man. I will say that. But I do want to go into free agency at one point.
Yeah. In fact, I tell you what. I want to bring up one college basketball thing. We'll get to break. We'll come back. I want to come back with NFL free agency also. The only other big news when you're looking around the country, Cooper Flagg goes down with an injury yesterday in the ACC tournament. I haven't seen any reports of anything other than he's being evaluated and they'll update status as it's available. But could have a huge impact. We've seen late season injuries affect teams before, so this isn't the first time. But this Duke team is a team that looked like they are Final Four ready. But this Cooper Flagg injury could put a hitch in that giddy up.
You know, I watched him from beginning to end twice. He played against my cousin's team, and I want to say this about Cooper. He's a bigger Allen Iverson. He is 100% energy the entire game. He throws his body around. I think he already knew he was going to be the number 1 draft pick, but he just reckless abandon. And I just want to know what's going to happen on the next level, because this boy got to slow down. I'm a fan. I just couldn't root for him in those games. But what a player. And I hope he comes back 100%. But I am a fan of Cooper Flagg. If you guys have not seen him play, I was interested in what he did when he scrimmaged against the Olympic team. For those of you who didn't know, that's when he, I hate to say this, really burst onto the scene. We knew of him, but when we saw him play against NBA talent, we were shocked. I think I could speak for most people in that. And then he came into the season, had all that momentum, and really just killed Ace Bailey up at Rutgers. There was no one else for Rookie of the Year but him. And then to see what he did with a team, I'm impressed. But yeah, I will say this, Travis, if he's a no-go, Duke's a no-go.
Well, and that's pretty much the sentiment. They're not a Final Four team without him.
Nope.
That's what most people are thinking. Today they got a big game against North Carolina. Talk about a team who's played their way off of the bubble into the semifinals of the ACC tournament. Yes. And Cooper Flagg or no, if they get a win today, they've taken themselves from squarely on the bubble.
Yeah.
To possibly an 8 or a 9 seed in this tournament.
Yeah.
Is the crazy thing.
And that doesn't help Texas.
No, it doesn't help Texas at all.
And also, it's not just Cooper. Malik Brown's out today. He redislocated his shoulder in the game as well. Cooper wasn't the only one that got hurt. Everyone's talking about Cooper, but he wasn't the only one that got hurt.
Yeah,
Malik Brown got hurt as well.
Yep.
And so now North Carolina's looking at this as that no Malik Brown, probably no Cooper Flagg. Let's get in.
We'll see you at the NBA draft.
All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent, KB24's Corey Mose, Douglas Washington, twisting and tweaking the boards. I want to talk NFL free agency. A lot going on. Cowboys, Texans, across the NFL.
I just want to hear y'all's who's y'all's top winner and who's y'all's biggest loser in free agency this year?
I think Minnesota's the biggest loser. Losing Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold
remember,
much, bro?
Remember we talked about it before, and you were saying stick with JJ.
Yeah.
I forgot the dude's name. Was it JJ McCarthy?
JJ.
I forgot him. That proves my point.
Talking about
I wanted Sam to stay.
JJ.
Yeah,
crazy.
I wanted Sam to stay. I'm telling you, if they don't win 8 games this year with JJ, just remember what I said. And I want to be proved wrong.
They probably won't. I mean, because you have a schedule that you won a division. So since you won the division,
understood,
you're going to have a harder schedule.
Understood. This year. Okay, so if we're not impressed with JJ's play, is that better? Is that easier?
Yeah. I mean, what is impressed? Because
that it looks like he's capable. Because if he comes out there looking like an Anthony Richardson, I'm going to be mad.
I think JJ will look like, it's funny, I actually was able to interview Blake Corum last week. And I asked him, hey, bro, is JJ like that? Or is he just... And he honestly told me, he just wasn't able to show what he could do at Michigan because he smirked and he was like, you have me, so right. You gotta hand the ball off, but he's like, I promise you, JJ, he can spin it. So I am interested to see what happens. But when I ask you that question of what is capable, because I think of a guy like Drake May. I think the Patriots won 3 games last year, or 4. I think they won 4 games.
4 games.
2 of those games he wasn't playing, or 3 of those games he wasn't playing. I think Drake May won 1 game last year.
Wow.
But no one's really, because the other one was Joe Milton. No one's really like questioning if Drake May's a guy. Everyone's like, oh yeah, he's quarterback of the future. But he didn't win anything yet last year, so that's why I asked what is capable. Could if J.J. McCarthy wins 4 games next year, but looks capable,
right?
You see the future. But Vikings are your loser for real, bro? Oh,
yeah.
Darnold?
Yeah. Well, no, Aaron Jones came back.
Yeah, Aaron Jones came back.
So no, I was disheartened.
Byron Murphy? No, not Byron Murphy. Cam Bynum? One of them. One of them went to the Colts.
Yeah.
I would have spent the
money. I really like what Chicago's done.
That's your winner?
Yeah. I think it's either them, and I guess maybe I'm saying them just because I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't want to give it to Washington because Washington's done the same thing. They've added pieces that are going to plug in as starters next year.
They're stacking. That's an all-star team. Build it and they'll come.
But Chicago is going all in on the offensive line, and they tried to do it through the draft and it didn't work. And so now they're doing it through the free agency cycle with players that are going to plug in and be their starters. And they're better. They're a better offensive line today than they were last year.
Way better.
Yeah, not even close. Not even close.
Hall of Famer now.
Right.
Joe Tooney.
So I think those two, to me, definitely are in great shape. We do have a caller, so we're going to jump into the phones. Hey, caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm not a happy man.
You're not happy, Mr. Oklahoma.
What is so funny? What is so funny when Mr. Oklahoma calls radio station?
That's a great question. But I think that's a laugh of excitement because we know it's going to be fun. I think that's what that's about for me.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. We lost by 1. I knew we was gonna lose last night, man.
Come on, man.
We was gonna lose last night.
Don't do that.
A 1 point is a loss. What difference does it make? We lost.
This is the second week in a row. I'm telling you, Boomer Sooner, and look at you, man. Come on. Look, I hate when people say that's a good loss.
If they gonna keep the coach, if they gonna keep that coach,
yes. The number 15 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. You lose to them by 1 point. That ain't bad.
Right. It's not bad, but we still lost, Douglas.
Okay, in your last 6 games, the most you lost by was 3 points, and that was 87-84 when you guys lost to Ole Miss. And that was at Ole Miss. Y'all went up against Kentucky before, and y'all lost to them by 1 point. You played them again, and you lost them by 1 point. And both times, you put up 80 points. Didn't I tell you? I told them last week, Travis. I said, you boys can score. They are a top scoring team. You put 84 points up on Kentucky. And when you played them the first time, you put 82 up. That's consistency. Y'all went on that 3-game run streak. You beat Texas. The better Texas keeps looking, the better you look. You beat number 15 Missouri, you put 96 points up. Man, y'all all right.
Are we out of the tournament?
Nope. I think you're in. I think you're in.
I don't know.
I go out there and win today. They're definitely not in.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, hey, Corey, last Saturday, I saw you on TV and you was talking about, you was touring down at Oklahoma. Was you talking to me?
Yep, he got nothing else better to do.
That's hilarious. I was showing there the last 14 minutes.
Yeah, I know. He was one of the guys that was in the screen, and I say he talking to me, man.
Could you imagine Mr. Oklahoma is in front of the TV, hitting his chest with, Corey, I know you talking to me. He's talking. I bet he was talking to his TV.
Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you for watching Mr. Oklahoma. I really do.
Yeah, I watch you all the time, man. And tell Miss Peter that I seen her on one of those shows from my man. she was narrating about in Austin, you know.
Okay, yeah. I told
Yeah, I seen her on there, you know.
Yeah, she everywhere.
But anyway, man, I think Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player. I mean, to me,
Oh,
you know, I think he's the greatest basketball player.
that's fine. We all think dumb things. So.
Yeah.
What about
Okay.
LeBron? What about LeBron? You don't think LeBron's the greatest?
LeBron is all right.
All right's crazy.
Oh
But
my God.
I like Jordan.
That's fair. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not here to
So
argue.
on the NBA, we were talking NBA starting five in all time. Where are you putting?
Right.
What position is Michael Jordan playing?
I don't know. He's the greatest to me.
I think
He won.
he's a one or he's a two.
Like what
He
position?
won six championships. It could have won 8 if he played baseball.
How about this? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem Olajuwon, because you from Houston. How about that? I put your boy in there.
Okay, now what did Bird say?
Bird ain't in there. I guess LeBron took his spot. Oh, you gonna take LeBron out
You like Bird more than LeBron?
or Magic, or who you taking out then? Houston.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just listening to y'all. You know, I thought Bird might be in there somewhere. You know, I mean, I like LeBron. You know, a lot of people like Steph Curry. You know, I mean, he's all right.
Yeah, I think LeBron gets it over over Bird to what they were saying. You get versatility, you get scoring, and his all-around impact on the game. I think that's it. I don't remember chase down blocks, and I'm sure Bird had a few blocks, but I just feel like especially young LeBron, when he wanted to lock in on D, he was a problem, especially with his length. So I'm with those guys because I think I would have had Bird in, but they talked me into LeBron.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, man, I stayed up all yesterday and all last night watching those college basketball games. I love them, man. I love them.
And
You know.
you on fumes today then? You all right? How many cups of
you
coffee
know.
you in?
Huh?
How many cups of coffee are you in on right now?
Well, I'm not at home right now, but I mean, I don't really drink coffee. I drink my beverage. You know, I drink the same thing Travis drinks.
Wait, what is that then? Because I don't know what Travis drinks.
Travis, tell us our favorite beverage, man.
Well, mine's Dr. Pepper.
That backfired.
I heard more than stronger than that.
Hey, I didn't know we were going to talk about strong drinks this morning. Now, I gotta wait till 2:30 for that. Around tip off, I'll probably pour me a drink.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I told y'all later. I'm not at home. I told y'all later.
Okay. All right, we'll see you. Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma, as always. 512-836-2887.
He's always good for a laugh.
Yeah.
He's a great part of the show.
We'll hit in the final segment. I just noticed they didn't change the clocks yet.
No. and listeners, I can't reach it. I'm too short.
In the final segment, we may re-hit on a couple of things. And Big 12 tournament is just interesting that you got semifinals and no Kansas represented in the semifinal of the Big 12 tournament. So
U of H just came in there and just took over.
yeah, it kind of has. And I tell you what, Arizona's playing really well right now, and a lot of props to Texas Tech. Grant McCaslin, when they've retuned their team twice since they lost Chris Beard.
Yeah.
And then here they are right back in the top 10, top 12 in the country, and they're at the top of the Big 12. So a lot of props to Texas Tech. I don't know if anybody saw the gas fire they had on campus yesterday.
No.
Yeah. They had to shut down campus. Of course, spring break is next week for pretty much everybody in Texas anyway. But they had some sort of gas leak and a gas fire on campus that had this green flames coming out of like the manholes on campus. And so they shut down classes and just told everybody, hey, just start your spring break early. We'll see you at the end of next week. Because we don't know what's going on. So, yeah, that was wild. But
yeah, that was crazy. But I tell you, shout out North Texas, Graham McKenzie.
Graham McKenzie, that's right. North Texas.
And he's been doing a good job. Like, they outbid Texas for JT Toppin, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother rabbit hole, a little whole monetary thing about not getting the financial support from the donors.
Went 14-4 in the conference and 15-1 at home.
Yeah. What is JT Toppin average? Can you check that?
Yeah. I will tell you. So, are you allowed to root for them?
I think so. I worked out there.
Oh, okay. But you went to, Arlington,
UTA,
UNT.
I have no ties.
All right.
UTA have been to the tournament since 2008. We don't have a football team.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, I have Maverick pride sometimes.
Okay. Who was I going to give you?
JT Toppin.
Hey, did you watch a UNT game at any time? This.
Oh, not this year.
Yeah.
On
It stuck
Texas
up on
Tech,
me.
though.
I wish I would have went and checked them, but I didn't. So I feel really bad that I didn't. And Travis, do you ever, Arlington, UNT, do you ever draw a little attention over there?
No, not really. Not in basketball. In baseball, a little bit. Dallas Baptist. I keep up with them in college baseball. They're a really, really good program. I mean, the state of Texas is full of a lot of baseball players. Obviously, warm weather climates.
Yeah.
The youth baseball scene around the state, and so there's a lot of programs that benefit from that. Texas State knocking off A&M the other day. Illinois came in and got beat by Texas State.
Yeah.
These are teams that when they bump into, whether it's Dallas Baptist or Texas State or something like that, and it's the same way in basketball, but basketball is just a different culture for the state of Texas, which is one of the reasons why we just don't have the number of national championships that you might expect. It's just the fact that in baseball, on any given day, you feel like your pitcher can beat their hitters.
Yeah.
And when you've played, these guys all grew up playing youth baseball and high school baseball against each other. They all know each other. They're not scared of each other. And that's just so it's a different ball game. But yeah, I keep up with some of that, but not as much in basketball.
I just found out this week. I coach a girls softball. It's a rec league, and I'm the assistant coach. Our head coach is also assisting on a select team. Well, that select team. Did y'all know that select teams pay coaches, and it's normally major leaguers that just finished their career, and that they could get six figures. Like it could be a full-time job for them. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, it is a full. So I mean, because it's part of a club, right? And so when you are employed by that, and that is all you do.
I did not know that.
Some of them will have a second job working for maybe like one of these like maybe they work for Huddle, or they work for a video company or something like that that's related to it. But they, even though their practices don't start until everyone gets out of school, right? But they're then having practice from 4 p.m. till sometimes 10 or 11 p.m. at night, and then they're doing private trainings during the day.
That's what he said.
For homeschool kids and things like that, and kids that are taking an alternate route to schooling. It's a full-time job.
That's what he said. He said we were texting back and forth, and I expressed my wow, and he said, "Yeah, well, if you're doing private lessons, then yeah, you can do that." JT Toppin, Texas Tech Red Raiders forward, number 15, 6'9". Why he's a sophomore? He's from Dallas. 18.4 points, 9.3 rebounds, 1.1 assists, and he field goals 55.7%. Good Lord,
It would have looked good in this lineup for Texas, wouldn't it? Exactly.
18-9.
And
People worrying about Ronnie Terry built this roster. Oh, Ronnie Terry recruited these guys. Ronnie Terry wanted JT Toppin, but Texas Tech had more money. That's basically what it came down to.
Texas Tech went 25-7, and they'll be in the semifinal against Arizona at 8:30. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's those are the type of things that frustrates me when it comes to the Ronnie Terry discourse. Is because he clearly doesn't have the same financial backing as the other sports do, especially, of course, football. But, I mean, I would even say women's basketball. The fact that Aaliyah Chavez is even in the conversation to come to Texas when she's openly saying, I need $1 million. Like, in women's basketball, that's a lot of money.
I saw her valuation is $1.7 million.
Exactly. And so the fact that women's basketball can get that type of backing, but men's basketball can't. I don't know.
JT Toppin just named Big 12's top player, for those who didn't know.
Yeah. But to go back to the free agency, though.
Yeah, free agency.
I agree with you, Travis. I think the Bears, they're definitely one of the winners. Whenever you can shore up the interior line for a young quarterback, it's big. It's big time. I think you can go into the season with okay tackles, but they have Darnell Wright at right tackle. I mean, they drafted him a couple years ago. He's pretty solid. But man, when you get 3 Pro Bowlers, I mean, that's what are we talking about? So now it's on Caleb, though, right? Like, all right, you got all these sacks last year. Some of them were on the line, but some of them were on you too. Yeah, you held the ball too long, so we're gonna give you a line.
And this is what Chicago and Washington are step and step, right? Because this is what you have when you have a quarterback on their first contract. You have room to spend that money in other places. Because once you have to pay your quarterback $40, $50, $60 million a year, it changes the whole conversation.
Since we were just talking about tweets earlier, Micah Parsons tweeted that earlier this week in relation in reaction to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And he said on quote, I don't have it in front of me. He said, that's what it's like when you have a rookie quarterback. Welcome to reality. LOL. Now that tells you, to your point, Travis, the players now agree and see that. So we're going to say these rookie contract quarterbacks are the most valued they've ever been in the NFL's history
100%.
At this moment. When you got a person of that stature making that kind of comment.
If you go back, there's there's some different websites where you can find different valuations or whatever, but you can go back and sort of look at what the stats say a player was worth versus what they were actually paid, right? And there are, you go back to, say, Dak Prescott's first several years in the league with the Cowboys, and he was a 4th-round pick, and so he's making, I don't know, he was making $1.5 million a year. I don't even remember what he was making back then, but it wasn't a lot of money. But they were getting like $38 million value out of him because he was playing great football back then. That's when you make your hay in this league. And from the standpoint of the Commanders and Chicago, I sit back and applaud them as franchises because you don't wait around to strike. You strike immediately. And you don't stop tinkering. I guarantee you next year, if they struggle coming out of the gates, I'm sifting through people's practice squads. I'm trying to find anything because the clock ticks every day. And these 2 quarterbacks eventually are going to demand a lot of money. And the sooner you can get to the top of the heap or get close to it, the better. And so, both of these franchises, I think, are doing an excellent job of trying to build around those young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I like both of their moves. Like Larry Tunsil, as a Texans fan, I will say this. Larry Tunsil is an elite left tackle. Before I say anything else.
Okay, you're right.
Tunsil is an elite left tackle, all pro. But he is 30. He did lead the league in penalties last year. If you go back and watch that Minnesota Vikings game, he was god-awful. Yeah. And when the worst part of your team is the offensive line, and you're the leader of that group, I'm okay with you leaving the door.
Yeah.
You get 4 draft picks out of it. I know a lot of people are saying, what are they doing? Why are you trading away your best offensive lineman when your offensive line sucked? Well, those 2 statements don't make sense.
Right.
The offensive line is trash, and you're mad that we're changing the offensive line.
Right.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, though, I like that move for Washington, though, because now Tunzel's with the group, like with Sam Cosmi, Texas grad.
Yep.
A lot of guys that now he's a pass blocking left tackle. He's not really a run first guy, and a lot of passes with Cliff Kingsbury in that offense. And I'm excited for him to be in a new situation. And I think the Debo move was phenomenal.
I agree too.
Debo's not going to be asked to do as much as he was asked to do in San Francisco.
That's right.
And Kingsbury is going to be able to use him as a chess piece, gadget type. I mean, I'm interested to see what they do with Debo.
I am too.
To be honest.
I am too. And I think he's paired up with an offensive coordinator who's not afraid to use him in multiple positions. And I think Debo likes being used in multiple positions. I think he knows he's not pigeonholed as a wide receiver or as a running back. I think he's at this point relishes the fact that put me somewhere and get me the ball.
Yeah, literally. That's all.
That's all I really care about. I don't care whether it's the backfield, the slot, the outside. Just put me somewhere and direct the ball my way.
And I think Kingsbury is going to be able to do that. So I like Washington's moves. They're one of my winners. Chicago is definitely one of my winners. But interesting enough, like I think the LA Rams are winners in this free agency period. Not just, of course, getting Devontae Adams, which to me way big of an upgrade than Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Devontae is still widely considered the best route runner in the league by the guys in the league. And then he won't have to be number 1. Puka is still there. You also retain Matthew Stafford, which was a big deal. And then you have to make some tough decisions. But you talked about with the rookie quarterback deals, teams being able to use a lot of that money to get good players. The Rams are a prime example of letting go of guys at the right time to preserve money and then drafting well. That Rams defense is phenomenal, but they're not paying anybody anything because they're all young.
That's right.
They're all young. They're all on first or second years in the league, and I'm just excited to see what that defense can do with a Jared Verse or whatever. But on the flip side, they're spending money on offense, and they got rid of guys at the right time. Think of Von Miller. He was on that team, you know. And they got rid of him. Von hadn't been the same since he got to Buffalo.
Yep.
You know, think about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
They got rid of Jalen at the right time, sent him over to Miami. And now Cooper Kupp. I think they're just so smart with when to move on, unlike San Francisco, who just waits and had a contract extension with Debo, contract extension with Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Now you got all this money tied up, and so you got to get rid of everybody on the roster. And now you're stuck with Brock Purdy.
How about bringing in the back door when nobody was looking? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
If Matthew Stafford's 37 years old, there may be a game or two that he is nicked up and can't come in. That you got a quarterback that's got 64 starts under his belt. That's a very capable backup to bring in.
I like that. I think they'll draft a quarterback, though. I don't think they're not in the quarterback market. Wouldn't it be cool if Quinn just went there? I just feel like that's like the perfect team for Quinn Ewers. Just wait a year or two, learn from Stafford, learn McVay's offense. He can do it. He's smart.
Yeah.
And now you have weapons in Puka and Devontae. Quinn just, to me, that's like the perfect fit.
Yeah, I would agree.
I like that.
I would agree. We need to get to a break. All right, let's get to our break. We'll come back for that stretch run in the last half hour of the show. 88.7 Travis Kent alongside Douglas Washington and KVU 24's Corey Mose. So we've got we got the last stretch of the show. We were talking NFL free agency. We can certainly continue on that.
What are you liking Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
He's the guy, huh?
So
why are you laughing?
Wait, because that doesn't sound like you have a lot of confidence there.
I mean,
I think
they're making him the guy, right?
they're making him the guy, and I'm not ready to give up on Justin Fields yet. But I think has he?
What's up, bro?
That's the place. Remember,
This
I was
is
asking
crazy.
you off air.
We keep so at some point we keep expecting him to show us we like his skill sets.
Yeah.
And we keep waiting for him to show us something on the field that says, aha, if we can just add one more piece, or if we can just protect him, if we can just do this, we're waiting for that. We haven't seen that yet. But he's I don't blame a franchise for still taking a shot with him, but as a fan, I sit there and start to think that door seems like it's closing pretty quickly.
It's frustrating because I'm looking at his agent and I'm thinking, why do you keep putting him in these situations?
Mm-hmm.
You know, from Chicago, defensive-minded head coach, limited weapons on the outside, limited weapons around him in general. Then you go over to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Defensive-minded head coach, limited weapons on the outside. And then you go over to the Jets. Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded head coach, limited weapons on the outside.
Yes.
What could he do with the Big Bay? What can he do with a Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah. Like
with
with
his skill set.
like do you it's almost it appears that the decisions being made are where can we go and start
Yeah.
versus where can we go and become a better football
And
player.
succeed.
Exactly.
I mean, and look at Sam Darnold. It's all about fit. It's
Yeah.
all about environment.
What if, okay, you are a guy who was a starter last year and lost your job when you were winning 6-2? I'm gonna say is what he was as a starter. Does that sound right?
Something like that. Or
Okay.
4-2.
And then you want to be a starter. You don't want to go somewhere and be a backup. There were probably places he could have gone and be a backup. He probably could have gone to Minnesota and been a backup to McCarthy. But Garrett Wilson is in New York, and you threw to him for 2 years while you were at Ohio State. And so you're feeling really good about that. I got my boy. And me and my boy, we could do this. Does that sway you, Corey?
I mean, yeah, it's a cool story. You know, you get to go back with your college homie and start slinging a rock again. You got Brees Hall in the back.
Here comes a butt.
But who's coaching? Look at the culture there.
Yeah, I know.
And mind you, Aaron Glenn, I hope Aaron Glenn does well. Shout out Jason Glenn, by the way, an AISD athletic director, brother of Aaron Glenn.
Oh.
But, like, he's bringing in a new culture, and, you know, you get Justin Fields, kind of like you mentioned Jaden Daniels. Like, he come into a regime that's trying to build a culture, and now you're the guy to help build it.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron Glenn's not an offensive-minded guy, you know, and I just want Justin to be in a space where he's coached by an offensive-minded head coach, just so they can utilize all his talents. And I just feel like to me, the guy that comes to mind is like a Shane Steichen. Like, if Justin would have went to Indianapolis and paired himself with the guy who helped build up Jalen Hurts, and now he's coaching Anthony Richardson. Now what you're telling me, you're talking about trying to be a starter. All right, come compete against Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
Come beat him out. And I think he could have. I really do.
That's why Daniel Jones went there.
Exactly.
'Cause Daniel said, I can get that fool.
Exactly.
They gonna love me.
Exactly.
I'm big. I'm athletic. That's what y'all want. I got
I
that.
can do that. I can do that. And so it's with Shane Steichen having a history of building up athletic quarterbacks, why not take a shot in Indy, which they also have weapons. Adonai Mitchell.
Yes, they do.
They have Michael Pittman Jr.
Yes.
You know, they got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield.
Yes.
And so it's like, why not go to Indy? Instead, you go to a Jets, which I get it. It's a surefire, I'm going to start instead of competing. But you're an NFL player, bro. You should want to compete. And so, yeah.
So what do we know anything about the offensive coordinator that Aaron Glenn brought with him from the Lions, Tanner
I don't know Jack
Strand?
Clark, bro.
Nope.
I mean, I guess he was the quarterback's coach with Detroit. And I mean, what was he doing as a quarterback's coach with a veteran quarterback? I mean, it's not like he's teaching him footwork or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. He's young, so are we just saying the idea is to hire somebody under 35 and just let them go?
That's what the Texans
That's yeah. I mean, that's
Let's get young.
so.
Bro, everyone wants to get young at that coordinator position.
I mean, because they grew up playing Xbox, and so now we We think they can just draw plays in the sand or something. But
Yeah, I just I want the best for Fields, man. I like Fields a lot.
It's the path of least resistance, man. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
He's guaranteed to be a starter, and he said, I'm going to take that. Not to mention, I'm mobile. I'm still relatively young. If it don't work out, I'll go somewhere else and be a backup then. But right now, nah, I'll take the starter.
the one thing about the Jets situation is that and they better get better on the offensive line, but they have a running back who is a number one running back in the league, and they have at least a talented wide receiver that everyone believes is going to be a true number one for the next 4, 5, 6 years of his career, whatever. So it's not a wasteland that you're walking into, at least from a skill set input, but we know from the last couple of years of watching this Jets team that they have the same issues that a lot of other teams do, is that the big uglies up front haven't gotten the job done, and they've got to get better.
Yeah, it's a culture thing, though. Like, I put a lot of stock into culture. Like, when you think of the Green Bay Packers,
Yeah.
nothing negative other than Aaron Rodgers, and that's his problem.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers are a great run organization. When I think of the Steelers, great run organization. Baltimore, great run. But then when I think of the Jets and the Giants and the Browns, it's not just they don't win, they just win horribly, and they have horrible decisions around it about why they're not winning, you know? And I don't know if agents consider that for their clients, but like, if I'm a guy, I want to go to an organization that has been known to be run properly.
Yeah.
And so the Jets are just one of those teams that just like, they just haven't been run properly, and it's not with the head coach. It starts up top with Woody Johnson. You know, until he's gone, same thing with the Cowboys, no offense. But like, until Jerry's gone, it's going to be that way. And so
No. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity to be a quarterback number one in the media capital of the world in New York City.
With your Brody from college.
You're going to be sitting front row at Knicks games, Rangers games,
you better win.
Yankees games.
But you better win.
This is
They
last
will
stop.
hate you.
This is last stop.
And that's my thing. Like, this was your last kind of like hoorah. Like, you gotta pick it right.
Right.
Doesn't mean 3 years from now he won't still be in the league, but he won't be thought of as a starter anywhere 3 years from now.
I mean, unless he thinks
This goes
he
back.
could do the Geno Smith
Right.
thing.
And that's what I'm saying. But Gino was in a great
second-
situation.
Yeah, right.
Carroll have a bunch of weapons around him. He had a running game in Kenneth Walker, like a defense that was pretty good. That's when Tariq Woolen started to go and become a guy.
Seeing those are all the things that Sam Darnold does not have now in Seattle.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
He got there 2 years too late.
And he's about to get exposed. It was a good story last year.
It was a great story.
Really great story. He's about to be 7-11 this year. So,
Barely got some money.
yeah, he got paid
But on the other hand, for Sam Darnold, he probably made the decision he should have made.
and went to Minnesota.
He exactly.
Went to Minnesota, great environment, great coach, got a chance, used it, got the best receiver in the league, and now he's getting paid.
Now he's getting paid, and he's going to retire here in a couple of years, or he may be forced into retirement next year. We don't, who knows? but he's got money in his pocket now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't made a shit with the Steelers situation though. Like, they got DK, they got Pickens. Who's gonna throw them the ball? And now Najee's gone. Who's running the ball?
I don't know.
Because Jalen Warren is the only one on the
there's a
roster.
lot of good running backs coming
That's
out
what I'm saying.
that would fit that Steelers
Are
mantra.
they in like the Ashton Genty camp now?
Oh.
I'm interested. A lot of people are saying the Bears are now.
Gonna go get a running back?
Gonna go get Genty.
Oh, Genty. Wow. Behind that new line.
Yeah. I mean,
That
I
sounds
think there's
perfect.
still other holes, but why not?
Yep.
Why not go get Genty and just give
Talking-
Caleb everything?
Get him everything.
Give Caleb
Just give him everything.
So if you're a running back, would you rather be in the AFC North or the NFC North?
And I mean, both divisions are ridiculous.
I know. That's tough. That's tough
If I'm a
sledding
running
right there.
back though,
Yeah. So if you're Ashton, which one are you going to pick? If you could pick. Travis, I already know your answer. I think you were going old school AFC North.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
I'm
What,
thinking
and
NFC.
you? NFC?
I'm thinking about those defenses. Like Baltimore's defense is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I know.
Steelers' defense is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you can run the rock on. You can run the rock.
Oh,
on
but he doesn't have to
Detroit.
run against Pittsburgh. Remember, he's going to be on the Pittsburgh team.
Well, you just said AFC North.
Oh yeah, I meant Genty. If he could go to the Steelers, if he could pick it, if the Steelers would take him. But yeah, that's tough. It's ugly.
You know who I? What if like the Ravens just
Go get another.
say, you know what, F it.
It is
Let's
smart.
just go get Genty and prepare for Derrick Henry to retire.
That's a great
And
idea.
have a two-headed monster like Detroit
Let
has.
Lamar and Genty run the zone read.
You know, 5 years ago, did you guys
That would
see
be
on
crazy.
social media, Lamar posted a picture of him, Henry, and DeAndre Hopkins all together. Did y'all see that picture?
Yeah.
He posted that for 5 years ago, and he was like, man, if only the three of us could play together. Well, now they're together.
Dude, can you imagine? Seriously, think of this. They walk up to the line of scrimmage, and Lamar looks like he's going to go under center, and they're in a pro set. Mm-hmm. Genty on one side.
Oh my gosh.
And
Henry?
Henry on the other side. Oh. And then Lamar backpedals. Henry shifts out to the slot. You got and you go RPO.
Yeah.
And
Still got
yeah, exactly. You still got
Zay Flowers.
That's right. And
Isaiah Likely.
and
Yep.
now imagine
And Mark Andrews has something to prove this year too.
Imagine you're the slot corner, and Henry's running a slant pattern right at your chest.
No thanks. I'm a
Hey,
fake a slip.
Go get Genty, bro.
I'm gonna fake a slip. Oh, my cleats! I need longer cleats, coach. I don't know what happened right there. That's what I'm doing.
That would, and I can see Genty sliding. I really can. I mean,
I know.
There's a lot of talk about him, like
Yeah.
maybe he's not as good as, well, not as good. Maybe the gap isn't as big as people thought it was.
Yeah.
Between him and like a Marion Hampton, and I haven't done enough research on these running backs, so I'm not going to say they are. But I will say, if I'm like the Cowboys, right, and Genty's there at 12. Why when this class is so deep?
I think they're going quick. They let Rico Dowdle go.
No, but they just picked up 2 running backs.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
You're happy with that?
Well, no, but
No, but you spent money on them.
they're going to draft a running back,
Yeah.
and that's where I sit here as a Cowboys fan. I'm thinking the same thing, and I do think Genty's the best running back in the draft.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to be a good pro running back.
Yeah.
But I also think that you could probably get a good pro running back in the 3rd round of this draft.
Yeah.
And
I
he's-
agree.
And he's probably going to be the 7th or 8th running back drafted by the time you draft him in the 3rd round. Maybe, heck, I don't even know if 8 running backs go by then. There's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch of them.
Well, last week, Travis, Jamal January said that you need to go get both Ohio State running backs
Yeah.
if you're Dallas. He said a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can pull that off. You can go get them both.
I like Judkins a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm not a big. Y'all like Travion a lot. I like Judkins a lot. Just seeing his power.
Yeah.
But I mean, like again, 3rd
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, Judkins 3rd, 4th round.
That's right.
Yep.
Again, Taj Brooks 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah.
You know, Caleb Johnson from Iowa 3rd, 4th round.
Yes, sir.
These are all
That
good running
speedster
backs.
out of Virginia Tech, the fastest running
Oh,
back.
yeah.
He's there.
3rd, 4th
You want
round.
to get a home run hitter? See what he's got.
I mean, if I'm Genty, this is probably the worst year to come out as a running back, as the best running back. And I'm interested to see if he slides, or a team like Chicago takes him, who filled a lot of holes in free agency, and think of what Ben Johnson did with the Lions. I mean, they picked Jahmyr Gibbs
Yes, they did.
when people didn't think they should have. So why not go get
They're great.
Genty do the same thing, have Genty and Swift, and then Roshan Johnson, shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that, but this draft is gonna be very, very. It's gotten more interesting.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think a couple weeks ago it was like, okay,
Yeah.
Tennessee's
Yep.
gonna draft the quarterback, and Giants and Abdul Carter's going to Cleveland. Now I don't know if Abdul's going to Cleveland because Myles Garrett's there.
Mm-hmm.
And now will Cleveland draft a quarterback? Because they just have Kenny Pickett. There's no way that they're going with Kenny Pickett.
No.
Right?
So were there two? Okay, in all this free agent talk, we forget that Myles Garrett demands a trade to get out of Cleveland. All of a sudden, he's happy signing a new deal that has a no trade clause in it. Matt Stafford wants out of L.A., and then all of a sudden turns his. So the rumors heat up that Aaron Rodgers is going to L.A., and next thing you know, Stafford's back in L.A. I'm like, what? Like, what are we doing here? Did somebody just jump the gun on social media, or?
Look, this is from the media side of
Yeah.
it. These are people in the media, not naming names, but like people in the media who have really good connections with agents. Mm-hmm. And these agents are
100%.
Hey, my guy wants out.
Yeah.
Because the agents know if I make this public, this team is going to have to give me more money or we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so that's all that is. Like, the agents are so in with these reporters and quote-unquote insiders now, is that now they know that the insiders can change the narrative. Yeah. And so the narrative was Myles Garrett, and what a great PR move. And shout out to Nicole Lynn, black woman representing Myles Garrett, Delta as well. And yeah, she knew, like, Garrett is well beloved by everybody. We're going to put him on TV, and he's going to go on these networks and say, look, I love Cleveland.
Agreed. Yeah. And I bet they got a lot of calls.
I just want to win now.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, I agree, Myles. You are the greatest player. You've been defensive player of the year, and we want to see you out of Cleveland so we can see you on a good team. And then, boom, back door. Yeah. Browns give him the biggest contract ever because the PR was just so great for Myles. Yeah. And at the end of the day, he knew what he wanted. He wanted to stay in Cleveland, and he wanted to be the highest paid non-quarterback. Now, one of the losers in free agency, on this note, though, I didn't get to mention this, but it's Cincinnati. You know, you have guys leave out the door. Trey Hendrickson, your best pass rusher in a long time, is now looking to get out. You've got to try to find a trade for him. And you still haven't paid Jamar Chase. And this is what happens when you wait, again, like the Cowboys did with Dak. You come out, the GM comes out and says a couple weeks ago, Jamar Chase is going to be a Bengal, and he's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. You set that on record on camera. Mm-hmm. And then when you wait, situations like Myles Garrett happens. Mm-hmm. And so now you're going to have to pay Jamar Chase more than $40 million because you promised on camera that he was going to be the highest paid non-quarterback. And so these are the situations that I don't understand why GMs and owners and teams put themselves in. Yeah. If you know a guy is going to be a long-term guy, sign him 2 years before his contract is up.
Yes.
Extend him 2 years before. If he's your staple, he's going to be here a long time, Bengal, sign him 2 years before. Guess who just did that? Buffalo with Josh Allen.
CeeDee Lamb was never going to leave Dallas.
Yes.
And the fact that he had to hold out of all of training camp before they finally signed him, that is just idiocy from the Dallas front office.
I got a question about idiotic moves then.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers to Minnesota?
I like it. That's not idiot. To me, that's brilliant.
I mean,
to me, that is brilliant.
Then Brett Favre come out and say, yeah, dude, that's where you need to go.
I did it. It works for me.
That's the only thing that I'm like, wow, does Aaron really care, though?
He don't care.
That way he can play the Packers twice a year.
I didn't think about that.
And Jordan Love, hopefully beat Jordan Love right after into the sunset. This is what y'all wanted that guy, huh? Y'all want, I mean.
Yeah, I don't hate that move for the Vikings.
And then McCarthy.
I don't love that move.
Let McCarthy get another year being healthy behind a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. And
there's no, he's a Hall of Famer, bro. Come on.
He only got one chip, man.
Come on. I mean, what, 3 MVPs?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. I know as a person he's not great.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Like he's like that. But look, same thing. You get surrounded by the greatest receiver in the game right now. T.J. Hockenson, another year return from ACL injury.
Yep. Addison ain't bad.
Addison ain't bad. That's right.
Aaron Jones is back. Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Connell is running the show. You know how high I am on Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
So you go in for a low dollar amount.
Yeah.
You don't, because we now know Sam wanted the bag.
Yeah, fact.
And they said, nah, we don't want to do that. So yeah, come in for $15 million.
Aaron's publicly said, even before the the history with the Jets ended, that he's willing to work with a young backup quarterback.
Yep, he did.
And which is not what we expected to hear from him. But he also knows that at this point of his career, he better bring some other value.
Yes.
And so, and he also, once again, he's always trying to repair something that he screwed up in his personality anyway. And once again, I think that's the people. Everyone got so excited about him at the Jets because of the what's that show? The
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
Yes.
That first year he got there, and his teammates seemed to love him, and seemed like everything was going great, and everybody was happy, and he was joking around with people, and it looked fantastic. And then he gets hurt, and then he goes and does ayahuasca, and then the next thing you know, he's doing sleep deprivation, and it's.
Yeah.
He's once again back in mode of, okay, I got to repair my personality again, so I have some value and have some worth, and I think it'd be a great move.
I like that a lot. And the final point I would just make is, like, being able to be in that type of environment where you can be the guy, but also help nurture the next generation that's coming along. Jordan Love has had multiple interviews about Aaron, and Jordan Love has come out and said Aaron was a great mentor. Like, a lot of people give him crap for it, but like, he answered all my questions. Whenever I had any type of just interesting thoughts, he would have and share his knowledge and wisdom. He's like, I don't understand why he gets his narrative that he's not a good teacher when he helped me out the whole time. Even though some people say that Aaron hated Jordan Love because they drafted him so high. Yeah. But Jordan Love said he was a great teammate. So, I can see him helping J.J. McCarthy for just a year. Maybe make it to the, let's say, NFC Championship and then retire. I don't see why not. I hope he does not go to New York. I just pray he doesn't go to the Giants, because that will end bad.
Yes, it will.
And I hate that for his career.
Okay, so if they don't get Aaron Rodgers because they're listening to Corey, they'll go get Kirk Cousins.
They won't. They're cool with JJ. I highly believe that they are cool with JJ McCarthy being the guy. Remember, JJ,
sorry, I was talking about the Giants.
Oh, the Giants. No, I think you draft a quarterback at that point. Okay. There's no need to go get Kirk, man. Go get a quarterback at 3. Now, the question is, do you have to move up now? Because the Browns, are they going to get a quarterback at 2?
Yeah.
So that's the question. Would you have to move up to get a quarterback?
Unless the Browns are thinking about bringing in Kirk. What do you think about that?
I don't think Kirk's moving.
With those weapons and Joku's still there?
I don't think Kirk's moving. I know that's like a talking point because Penix, but why not have Kirk there? Like, when's the last time a quarterback has played all 17 games?
I got you.
And this year...
They paid him a lot of money.
They do, but, so is the Browns paying Deshaun Watson a lot of money. So, sometimes you got to keep quarterbacks on your roster after you committed to a contract. So... Aren't the Browns bringing in Russell Wilson? Wasn't that like a thing?
Something's going to have to happen. Because
Russell's waiting on Aaron. That's what's happening.
Oh, to see. Okay, so he goes where Aaron is not.
I believe so.
Okay. I'm okay with Russell Wilson.
I feel like he lands in New York.
I was going to say that. Russell Wilson going to the Giants. He's media savvy.
Sierra will love it out there.
You still draft a quarterback. Maybe not that high.
Yep.
And, okay, yeah. And that's a good guy to learn behind.
Exactly.
If he can stay healthy.
So then the Giants don't have to use that pick at number 3. You can kind of wait and maybe get a Jackson Dart or get a Quinn Ewers.
Yes, sir.
Later in the draft.
Yeah.
Cleveland gets their quarterback at 2. Tennessee gets their quarterback at 1.
Yes.
And who are we leaving out? JJ's the guy in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aaron goes to Pittsburgh at that point?
No, I don't feel like
that's the last team.
Mike Tomlin and him. Yeah. Mike Tomlin runs a tight ship.
I know. And I just don't see them meshing well.
I don't know if Aaron could pull off some of the stuff. What do you mean you're not coming to training camp? A lot of other coaches might let that happen, but I don't know if what we think the personalities are.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. You got weapons. You got weapons. Shout out Texans though, man.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a free agency.
That's.
Hey, we got your boy Justin Watson though.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Justin Watson.
That's right.
Houston Texans. Yeah, what a pickup.
They did looked the wide receiver positions rehabbed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
No, for sure. They did. Braxton Berrios.
yeah.
They did a lot.
So,
Just gotta get protection.
that's right.
Okay. Gotta get protection. That's not good though.
All right. We are up against the end of the show. We appreciate the callers. Frugalville Man, Mr. Oklahoma. Appreciate you guys calling in.